Hello guys, and welcome to this new video. So we are playing again against a lower rated opponent, BipBip78 from France. He's telling us good game in French, and he goes e4. Let's go to Scandinavian. He's a dangerous player. He told me he has a YouTube channel. He's going to update the link with his explanation on YouTube, so you can see the link opening. Now, if it's the case, and he takes the pawn, I take back with the queen. So far nothing special happening. If knight c3, queen a5, if knight f3, bishop g4, if pawn to d4, maybe we're gonna try e5. Don't remember, pawn to d4. It's maybe met by e5. So knight c3, queen a5. So taking the pin as usual. I mean, this is just theory. Queen d6 was also playable here. Queen d6 is even the most popular move lately. That one, queen a5, old-fashioned move. So I guess he's saying stuff for each channel. So you can play here the move b4, which is a pawn sacrifice. It's a bad move, but it's always funny to play that in blitz. We have the move as well, d4, followed by bishop d2 and bishop c4. And we have the move bishop c4 immediately. I think the best is d4 here, quickly playing bishop d2 and bishop c4. This is the new fashion way to refutate the Scandinavian, but I'm not exactly aware of how black should react. I know there is a possibility, but I'm too lazy to have a look at. Most of the people don't know that. So what is he saying about? Does he know the theory? So knight f3, knight f6. If d4, I will play this refuted line, knight c6. To see what he has under the belt. And if he goes bishop c4, I might try bishop g4. Might try to be a bit tricky, because bishop c4, bishop g4, then after d4 I would have knight c6, and this is an advantage for black, strange enough, because I go long castle quickly. Here's the best move is d4. You also have the lines with bishop c4 and pawn to d3, also playable. So we'll see what BipBip is up to. BipBip is a reference to the comics, or to the cartoon. Don't know what's the name in English. It's Le Coyote and BipBip, if someone knows that. If it's the same, it's like a Strauss, which is running really quickly and escaping all the time. It says beep beep all the time. So knight c6, I said, refuted the line. So here you have a couple of good moves. Bishop d2 is a good move. If bishop d2, I think I need to go bishop g4. Knight b5. Yeah, the main refutation is bishop d2, bishop g4, knight b5, queen b6, pawn to c4. I hope you still follow me. Bishop f3, queen f3, knight d4, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, queen takes b7, queen e4 check. Let me say that again. Bishop d2, bishop g4, knight b5, queen b6, pawn to c4, bishop f3, queen f3, knight d4, knight d4, queen d4, queen b7, and queen e4 check, trading the queens, and this endgame is an advantage for white. So this is the main refutation of the line, though bishop b5 is also playable and is met by knight to e4. So those are the two main moves. Here the big mistake is bishop c4. It's a pretty logical move. After bishop c4, you're met by bishop g4, pinning the knight, and the next move is long castle, adding up a lot of pressure on d4. Everything is pinned, and this is already a pleasant advantage for black if white goes bishop c4. We'll see what he does. You never know. You never know. By the way, taking the chance to promote the videos I do for the Russian Chess Championship. Hope you watched some of them. Hope you enjoy the good show that the Russian Grandmasters are giving to us. It's been an interesting championship for the moment so far. Still a few players being able to take the full price, or as I play the game, it's just half the tournament was played. So still exciting. So d5. This is not a move in my book. Let's go knight b4. So knight b4, why? Because I'm attacking the pawn. So after bishop d2, I think I can just rip the pawn off. Okay, gives a check, so I cover with my pawn. He has to exchange the pawns now. It's pretty much forced. And then I will be able to take the next move to develop my bishop, probably on f5, because you want to add a pressure on this guy. Depends when he retreats. If he takes take and bishop a4, I might go bishop d7. We'll see. Bishop a6 after bishop a4 is also inviting, stopping the king from castling. Bishop f5 inviting, attacking the pawn. Bishop g4 is inviting also, pinning the knight. The position is good. Let's give our opponent some time. If he's doing the video, let's give him the possibility to talk about the variation he wants. Yeah, so I'm really hesitating after bishop c4. I'm really hesitating because I go bishop f5, he castles. I grab the pawn. He plays rook b1, and I come back. Yeah, seems okay. So if I go bishop b5, and he has to go like bishop b3, then I have time to play e6 and quickly end my development. Not my bishop on f5 might be attacked by the knight. Yeah, the thing is that bishop f5 is good because it attacks the pawn, but I mean it's quickly over. So we've been talking about this move. Okay, bishop a6, pawn a3, and I have no time. Then I can go rook d8, but he goes bishop d2, and I have to drag the knight away, and I'm losing this pawn. This is such a shame. You would love to play bishop a6. It's totally gorgeous. The king is in the center, but you cannot follow it up. Just having a look. Can I find something? So if I have to do bishop d7, this is a bit deceiving. Yeah, this is really deceiving. Okay, lines like knight f d5 are falling to a3, knight takes c3, pawn takes b4, knight takes d1, and pawn takes a5. And my knight is trapped. Bishop d7 is really a move I dislike. Oh boy. Don't really like it. So can I protect the pawn with another piece? With the queen, by example. Like go queen c7. Defend my pawn. But then he can play a3. And if knight d5, this pawn is pinned. Oh boy. This is suddenly not looking as good as it was a couple of seconds ago. A move ago. I was just so happy about everything, and now find myself into trouble. So let's go bishop d7. But white is much better here. Maybe something I didn't see. How to get away from the opening here. Maybe we have more time. I should not have played such a bad line. The thing is that white is quickly playing castle, rook e1 and knight e5. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem, guys. Also bishop d2, attacking the queen, looking at the knight. All that needs, I would need to play g6, bishop g7, castle, rook d8 very quickly. But those pawns those pawns are isolated. Let's come back a bit in the game. Maybe could have played bishop d7 here. I don't know. This knight 6-9 anyway is dubious. So castle is coming. I might try the knight d5 to trade a pair of knights and take back with the pawn. Maybe to trade off all those pieces and then go e6, bishop somewhere, and castle. So let's calculate castle. Knight b d5, knight takes d5, pawn takes d5. Maybe I would have played that. So bishop b3. Now it's pretty clear to me that I have to play bishop g4. Because if I play e6, I know my bishop is going to be dead for the whole game. So I better play 2 times the same piece in the opening. And this is really a relief that he got the bishop away. That's really good news, because my bishop on g4 here is doing an amazing job. Next move is e6, bishop 2 somewhere, rook d8, maybe rook d8, bishop d6, castle. And everything is good again. You don't have to let your opponent take this annoying pin, especially when your bishop can't come back to the e2 square. So this is hard time for white. So pawn to h3 now, but I'm not exchanging the pieces. And now if bishop a4, I have time to play rook c8 to protect my pawn. So it's not a problem. Bishop h5 is a great move. It's not a great move. It's just a move. But I mean, it's no danger. I guess we are close to... I still have those 2 pawns. Not looking ideal. If my pawn was on b7, I would say even black is better. But with the pawn on a7 and the pawn on c6, can see a lot of lines where it goes like castle, pawn to e6, queen e2, bishop to somewhere, bishop d2, queen c7. And it's hard to see how I get rid of all those problems. The only good thing, as I said, is that he gave himself another problem, which he could solve by playing like queen e2, queen e3, then the knight comes and hits you. Not easy to get rid of this problem. Okay, so let's go e6. So rook d8, bishop d6. Probably go with the rook on d8. Just I'm thinking, do I want to bring this bishop here, this rook to d8 and this rook to c8? Or I might play bishop e7, castle, and rook d8, c8. Because if I bring this rook to d8, the a rook to d8, this rook has nothing to do. So maybe I better go bishop e7, castle, and rook c8. Maybe it makes more sense. So queen e2, bishop e7, bishop d2, queen c7. And then castle. It's so important for me to keep this. To keep those 2 pieces from moving. I also have like queen e2, bishop e7, bishop d2, queen f5. But maybe I'm mad by knight d4. Maybe it's going into some tactical lines. The knight on f5 is pretty well placed in blitz because it's not that easy and yeah, it's not that simple to refutate such a dubious placement of the queen. But with more time, as I'm giving time over that, maybe I better keep quiet, go queen c7, and then maybe try to play c5, push the pawns, or knight d5. Could also play an idea like queen e2, knight e4. Let's go bishop e7, because I can see we might want to play knight e4. So let's just go bishop e7, we protect the knight. It's never a bad idea to protect your knight. Because knight e4, if I take the knight, it takes with the queen, and then this knight is doing okay. He might go knight e4, castle, and maybe even some bishop g5 then. Yeah, it might be dangerous. I'm not very confident for the moment. Can I play after knight e4? Queen f5, knight f6. Let's calculate a variation. Knight e4, queen f5, knight g3, bishop takes f3, knight takes f5, and bishop takes e2. It seemed to be good. Bishop f4. Looks like a good move, but it doesn't make much. Does he want to play queen e5 here? To unpin its knight. Might be a really interesting move. In fact, I'm very interested to see if a lower rated player might think about those tactics to get rid of a pin. Because queen e5, if queen takes e5, he can take with the knight, and I have no time to take the knight because he takes my queen. And I'm really interested to see if a lower rated player with time can use tactics for strategical purpose, or if he's just moving the pieces on natural squares. Because this is pretty beautiful. Probably instead of castle I would better have gone queen f5, but as I said, I'm really curious to see if he can find such a pretty idea. Not sure it's working though, but we'll ask him if he thought about that after the game. Because you really got to think about this move if you are playing the game. Well, I have some options. I can also play c5 after queen e5. Then you can go knight d4 as my pawn is pinned. g4. This can't be a good move. This just can't be a good move. Okay, if I didn't give time, I would just take, and can I be crazy? Can I be crazy just one time? It can't be right. No, it can't be right. It's tempting in blitz, but it can't be right. So I mean, take, and like queen e3. Can go queen h5, but I mean, no, it can't be right. Let's go just bishop g6. But I mean, look at this king now. Those are big weaknesses. So he's bringing the knight on e5. So unfortunately, I cannot go knight d5. Maybe I can. Because if he goes knight c6, I can go knight f4. And then he moves the queen. And I can take on h3 and go queen c7. So knight d5, knight takes d5. You can even take with the pawn. And after knight c6, I will have queen c5 covering the bishop. And then the king is weak. So let's go knight d5. So knight c6, knight f4. Oh, he has knight takes c7 check. Oh boy. Oh boy. What am I doing? Still maybe not a bad move, but how do I forget that he can take with the knight with a check? Then queen f3. But I could go queen c7. You could then take on g6. I'm taking back. Oh. How do I forget that? Played too quickly. Just had to play rook c8. Just playing the advantage away. Just giving my opponent an advantage even now. Oh boy. I knew I would blunder. And it's so easy to see. I mean, once you realize that when you take on e7, it's a check. I made this mistake because I don't make a tree of calculation. Knight f4, I'm just looking how to move the queen. I totally forget to watch all the candidates' moves. So this is a good lesson, guys. Of course, I'm not being on top with my concentration here. So I mean, this is a good lesson for anyone watching. So I will still try to get advantage of this king. Not sure he's going to see the move. Okay, and he missed that as well. The game is still unclear, but I'm glad he missed it. So can I take, and queen takes c3 now? Simply winning a pawn. He has never time to take on c6, does he? Then we take back and we cover the pawn. This is a free pawn. Got to take care about some tactics with knight take, and bishop e6. But worst case, I would lose a pawn. No, I could go for some cheapos with bishop c5, threatening queen g3. I love cheapos. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love cheapos? So suddenly, I'm feeling much better. Drinking some tea is always a good thing. This bishop now, if he moves away, I can go grab the pawn. So I even have ideas with knight e4. Even stronger, knight e4. Look at that, rook d1, knight to e4, rook d3 attacking my queen, and I can grab the bishop. And if he grabs the queen, I'm grabbing back the queen. Though he can grab the bishop back, but then I have the bishop pair. And the rook on g3 is misplaced. h5, h4. Can't be a good move. This is more blitz moves than anything else. Most of the times there is a refutation. But maybe it's the case where it's a decent move. I don't know, but usually you cannot go pushing all your pawns in front of your king. I cannot find the answer for the moment. Things I have to move. If I push the pawn, he takes, and he takes on e6. And if I go bishop e4, it goes pawn to g5. Well, it might sound strange, but for the moment I don't find a good move. If I go knight e4, he moves the bishop away, and then I take the h4 pawn. And if he protects the bishop, let's think later. Knight e4, knight takes g6. Knight takes g3, knight takes e7, check. I was close to blunder again. Knight e4, knight g6. Knight g3, knight e7. No, it can't be good. It cannot be good. I need to find this move. It is maybe the last one I get to find. It's not clear. How do I get away from that? Knight e4, knight g6 is wrong. Wow. What am I doing? I don't know. I don't find the move. It's like, I'm sure there's something simple working, but I have kind of a blackout. Cannot find it. Can I go with something like knight? No. Can I go something like rook d8, pawn to h5, bishop c5, king to h2, rook d2, queen to e1, and some kind of knight e4 then. Attacking pretty much everything. Let's start with bishop c5. So threatening. Then rook d8. Then we might think about something. Anyway, worst case, I always have h5. I mean, when especially when the king goes to h7, to h2, sorry, then the g4 square is giving a check. So yeah, my idea is, I repeat myself, king h2, rook d8, pawn h5, rook d2, forcing queen to e1 and knight e4, adding a pressure on the bishop. And in pawn takes, queen takes g3 because the king will be pinned. So this is another firework coming. Good game by white, though. I really think this is those move h4, g4 can't be right. I mean, I really have a strategical advantage in this game, but you know how it is. When the game gets out of control, and that's always what you don't want to happen when you play against lower rated players, you always want to have the control on the game when you are stronger, and this is not what's happening here. So that's why I'm not too comfortable. But that's the fun of this series. That I lose control sometime. I mean, I put myself in danger, not on purpose. The good thing would be bishop h2, because after bishop h2, queen h3, attacking the pawn, he pushed the pawn and I go bishop e4, and this is a checkmate. So if he goes bishop h2, I would be pretty glad. If he goes king h2, we'll fire rook d8 and then I will sink. And then I will sink. If he goes rook d1, I'm not sure what I will do. Okay, let's fire rook d8. He might go h5. And then I can play my my little idea. Shit. Could see that. And queen e5 is not working for the moment. Wait, can I go here bishop d4? Bishop d4 with the idea h5, bishop e5, and queen e5. And then knight g4. Let's go bishop d4. Top now is rook d3. Ah, this rook d8 move was maybe a mistake. Ah no, rook d3 is met by bishop takes d3. Whoa, thanks God. But maybe this rook d8 move was not good. I just introduced this rook move, but I'm not sure it was good. But look at that, h5, bishop takes, queen takes back, and knight g4 check. So that's a big difference between the king on g2 and the king on h8, on g1 and on h2. And if he moves the knight away, if he moves the knight away, I have h5. Okay, could try to move f3. But it can't be right, I mean. Well, who knows? Maybe it's not that easy to react after f3. Maybe f3 is a good move here. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Then maybe I go knight d5. If f3, maybe I go knight d5 and knight e3. Can you believe it? I'm sure rook d8 was not a good idea. Because many lines this rook is much more useful than this one. Had to play bishop d4 straight away. Also, rook takes d4 now is playable. Don't think it's good, but I mean it's playable. It's another line that can eventually cause me troubles. So rook d4, can I play rook takes d4, pawn h5, bishop e4, pawn to g5 then. Then maybe rook d2. Oh, my bishop then is... Okay, knight takes g6. So I thought I would just take it back. I don't have any tactics. No. But now he has rook d3. Okay. Can I play queen b4 here? Or do I expose myself? My is queen b4, bishop b6. And then my knight attacks this guy. But it might lead to tactics with bishop d6. I better go safe and go queen a5. So I want to play bishop b6. Trading material. And I'm a pawn up if I'm not wrong. And his king is weakened. Some ideas maybe just bishop c7 here. Or knight d5. Or rook takes and rook d8. Trading pieces. I need to use this material I have. I'm giving times that we're already 40 minutes in this video. I'm just writing game. So I'm just saying that the most interesting part of the game is behind us. So maybe we have to speed up the end. So I gave him some time. So king h3. Okay, I will do as I said. I will trade the pieces. I got to trade the rooks because I want to take control of the open file. Okay. So his queen is coming. Straight to pawn c6. Let's go queen to b4. Protecting the pawn by attacking another one. It's a good way to protect your pieces by attacking others. And if he plays g5, I go knight d5. And then if c4, knight e7. But the thing is that he opens his king even more. So he's giving me a good square for my knights now. Okay. Find some resources. Can I go bishop b6? So I really want to go to attack this king. I don't feel I'm in danger with my king. So if bishop d6, I have bishop c5. Saving the day. So he's bringing his queen inside. Okay. So can I go knight f5 now? Queen e8, king h7, queen here, and maybe queen e1. Just have a feeling this king should not be surviving. Where is my checkmate? Okay. I'm just afraid of the move c5 here. Because I want to see this bishop on e6. Somehow c5 looks strong. That's the move he plays. A ridiculously good move. Am I missing the win here? To tell you the truth, I was sure he won't see this stuff. It will teach me to underestimate my opponents. Do we have to take the draw? Wow. No checkmates with the queen and the knight. So if queen f1, yeah, I don't see any checkmates. Can I go queen f1, king h2, and knight e3? It won't work. Wow. That's ridiculous. I don't see any checkmates, guys. Okay. Good check. Let's hope he makes a blunder when he feels he's close to make the draw. The c5 move was a good move. Okay, maybe we flag him now. Okay, let's give another check. It's unbelievable. The thing is that I can take and go 97, but I really dislike it. Okay, let's give a check, give a quick check, and play bishop c5. And 97. We need to win this game. Ah, but there is a... There is time increment. I forgot that. Okay, give a check. And let's go 97 from here. Okay. Let's go 97. So, covering the checkmate on g8. 1, 2, 3, 4 against 4. This is the pawn count, and I feel like most of the time I will have this no, this is ridiculous, because in fact I won't be able to move my knight, and he can play just king h2, and my pieces are kinda tied to each other. So it's really hard. It's really hard. It's running out of time. Okay, he's moving his queen away and giving me the bishop in a move. The blunder finally happened. Finally blundered the bishop. Let's analyze. So at the end I was too casual, of course, and I did computer analyze, request the computer analyze, and I did obviously blunder at some point my win. But let's look back the game. Let's look back the game. It was interesting. So I'm waiting for the computer analyze to arrive, and then we'll be able to watch it together. So I watch. Okay, I made 3 inaccuracies and 0 blunder. Not too bad. So queen a5, knight here, knight f6, knight c6, d5, knight bishop b5, c6, take, bishop a4, and here the computer gives the move. So we've been thinking a lot. I played bishop d7. I was really not glad about this move. The computer offers knight to e4. Okay, and if he takes, I can take the bishop. Oh yeah, that was a good move. Then he offers to play a line like that. It looks pretty much forced. And come into this endgame, which is probably maybe favorable for black if white has no time to come to harass this pawn. So okay, we'll know for next time, knight e4. Just didn't think about that even. Bishop d7 a mistake. So here, as I said, bishop b3. I don't like this move. You have to castle. And now when I play e6, you can of course move your bishop away. And my bishop is never landing on g4. So bishop g4, h3, bishop h5, castle. e6, queen e2, bishop e7, bishop f4, and castle. We see the computer gives plus 07 here for white, but I really don't think white is better. So I play bishop g6. I mean, I don't like white. Bishop knight e5, knight b d5. And here he's saying knight c6, the move I missed. But I mean, if I don't make this blunder, I don't think white can be much better with the king wide open. So after knight b d5, he missed like knight take, knight f4, knight e7, king h8, queen f3. And he was a pawn up. And here white is clearly better because of the pawn, but he's still dangerous. So this was my blunder. So he went bishop g3, knight c3, pawn c3, queen c3, h4, bishop c5, king h2. So rook d8. Here it was a cheapo. My idea was that after h5, rook d2, the queen moves to e1. Because if you go to c4, I just read the queens and I can raise the find a score for my bishop, and knight e4, the line we've been talking about. And I like black here. I think it's winning because I'm straining the bishop. This pawn is pinned. This bishop is attacking on f2, and I don't really see how white defends. So I was hoping he missed that, but he goes rook d1, bishop d4. So now if h5, bishop e5, bishop e5, queen e5, queen e5, knight g4 check. So that's all the difference between having a king on h2 or on g1. So he went knight g6, pawn g6, rook d3, queen a5, rook d1, bishop d6. So we trade the rooks. Queen f3, attacking my pawn, knight d5. I go queen b4 first. Okay, and here somehow we played a really good game. I mean, all those moves were really strong. So my mistake was only that I had to protect the pawn with my queen, probably. Yeah, it's amazing. He was on time to come inside with queen d3, bishop b6, queen d7, knight f5, queen e8. And he saw all this line. And now pawn to c5. And this is the game changer. First of all, I hoped he won't see that in the end of the variation. He would be afraid by my queen threats. But in fact, I have absolutely nothing here. There are no checkmates. So I decided to go bishop c5. Here he had to play queen e6. And go to the endgame this way. I totally didn't think about bishop e6. And this is an advantage for white. This king is never coming and the king is going to dominate the endgame. So I was lucky he didn't find this move. I would maybe go just queen h1 and knight e7 probably. I would have tried to defend it this way. Probably I won't go to the endgame. So queen h1, king g4, queen e4, king h3, knight e7. My only chance to try to win the game. And here it finally blundered. And as I said, queen h2 was the best move. And it's hard to see how to attack the king now. Because this knight is committed to e7 and I cannot make anything with this bishop and the queen. So I was really afraid of that. But was lucky when queen f4 finally cracking under pressure, giving up a piece, and he resigned. So one inaccuracy, one mistake, and one blunder. Yeah, I lost that. So yeah, I feel he played pretty good. He played really good game. I played pretty well as well, pretty good as well. In fact, even if it's a lower rated player, it was that hard to win. So thank you for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye.